like technologies. If you are already aware of them, then you know all this. Otherwise, no problem. People who are not aware of that, for them, we are giving one more time an overview of all these functions because we have to regularly use them. Later in Angular, when I am using them in various examples, then you will not have any doubt about what is this, how to use this, right? So we will directly use them. So these are the options for adding elements into an array. Similarly, next important, how we can remove elements from array. To remove elements from an array, how we can remove the elements from an array. To remove elements from an array, we can use the functions. We have the function and description. The function and description, so we have pop is a function. We have shift as a function, and again splice as a function. Splice is a function. So to remove elements from an array, we have these options. That is pop, shift, splice functions. Actually, pop, it removes the last element from array. Last element from array. It removes the last element from array. And the shift, it removes the first element from array. Splice, it removes the specified element. That is, syntax is very simple. So we can define, so array dot pop, we can define array dot shift, and we can define array dot splice. Splice syntax we learned. So at which index number you want to remove? So index, we have to define the start index. And number of items to remove. And that's it, because this time we are not adding any new item. So this is the basic syntax we need to give. By using splice, we can add or we can remove. Let's see that point. Here, simple. Suppose I want to remove. Okay, currently you can see these are the options available. You can see 3 are there. I want to remove the last one, shoe. Now, important is these functions, you have to note that. So all array functions that are used to remove elements will return the removed elements. So all array functions that are used to remove elements will return the removed elements. That means they are not just removing, they remove and return that element. That means you can store the removed element and you can use that element. I will show. That means actually, so we are printing it. All right, this is actual values. That means console.log, I will just print here as actual elements, actual values are this. These are actual values. After that, I will define here console log. So one item is removed. So here I will define item removed. Then I will use an expression here. So first here we will write let. So a variable name is removed element, and it is a string type, is equal to, we have to use array name products dot we have the option like pop. So pop is a function which will remove the last element and returns that last element. And here we will just put an option saying that console log and dollar removed element and hyphen removed. We need to just say that, so it is removed. After removing, then again final values. So we need to print the values. We will get the print function here. That means what it is doing is, up to this we know we are creating an array, we are reading the values from an array and printing those values. We are printing both property and value, and actual values are this. After that we are using pop. Pop is used to remove the last element and return that element. So we know that it is returning the last element. Then when it is returning the last element, we are catching that element and we are storing in a reference. And you can see we are printing that removed element, and after that we are printing the list again. Now when you run this, so you can see when we compile and run this, and finally it will be like this. Actual values, it is printing the actual values. So I will save the changes. Okay, let's print it, because we haven't saved the changes, previous output came, right? Now you can see here, actual values, we have TV, mobile and shoe. And last item removed, shoe removed. And finally we have TV and mobile. So the function pop is used to remove the last element. Not just removing the last element, it will return the last element. It removes the last element and returns the last element. We can catch that element and we can use that removed element in the programming later. We can store and we can use the removed element also. That we are generally doing here, right? Similarly, and we are printing the final list, it is having this. So that is how we can remove. Similarly, this example I will keep here. So example, this is for pop, right? How we can define it. Similarly, we can use instead of pop, I am using shift. Shift will remove the first element. Shift will remove the first element. Let's run this and see now. You can just change and you can try. And you can see in now shift will remove the first element. That means TV removed. Then we have only mobile and shoe. Automatically the elements will be shifted to the memories. Now we have the mobile and shoe. So we are adding the elements and we are removing the elements. Suppose I want to remove this mobile, means present at index 1. So this is for push and pop, both push and shift. Pop and shift, right? Pop and shift. For both of them, you can try the same example just by changing its reference. The function name you have to change here.